friends, how are you today? I know we're in a weird location. We're in my living room / dining area. It kind of makes me feel like I'm normal, like I'm a real person, right? Like I feel real. Come on, dogs. Come on, dogs. Please stop. Hi, friends, how are you today? My name is Baby Sarian. We are currently in my living / dining area because I was trying to redo my background.
Hello, YouTube and TikTok land. You have made the request, and I am here to do an entire morning routine, although this does mean that I will dip out occasionally to wash my face or whatever. So we're going to start with this gold-infused face mask. And then we'll use my jade roller. Thank you for the likes. Wow, 90 already. Very impressive. Thank you. Okay, and we're going to let that set. I have pretty much everything lined up today, but for some odd reason I cannot find my eyeliner bag, which I have been looking for. So, never mind. I found it. Today's pride flag that we are doing is the Intersex flag. And I am going to attempt something that I thought about trying, but we're going to see how it goes. We're going to see how it goes. What's everybody up to today? I am so freaking thirsty. Thank you for the likes. Beep, blep, beep. I have had so many requests to do like a full skincare routine that I do in the mornings. So we're here. We're here. This is what we're doing. I got new toothbrushes for everyone. The whole family. We don't buy for my oldest. She buys her own. But that's mine, my wife's, and my youngest. So all new toothbrushes go around. I'm going to put them in the bathroom when I go in to wash my face. I did not bring the face washes in here. I will bring them back after I wash this off so you can see what I use to wash things off, which is very redundant and repetitive, but yeah, it is what it is. We were watching Disney Channel, but YouTube yelled at me yesterday because I forgot that they will like copyright it. So we're not watching that today. We're listening to YouTube in the background. So YouTube will not yell at me. Okay, I'm going to go wash this off. So I'll be right back. Also probably going to brush my teeth off. Oh, maybe not, because I got to do one more mask. I'm back. For now. Okay, so what I use to wash off the gold mask is Clean and Clear Morning Burst Facial Cleanser. And then we're going to do one of my spa masks today. So this is from Global Beauty Care, and it's a collagen face mask, anti-aging serum. Really wet and slimy. It's gross. These are so fun. So slimy. And also because I have like a small featured face, it never fits me right. But whatever. Now you know why I don't do this on camera. Yeah. It's weird. So about a year later, called the Kingsbury Run. It's along the east side of Cleveland. 2 more bodies have been found in a very similar fashion. Now, Kingsbury Run once contained a natural... I don't leave this on long, mainly because it's uncomfortable, because like I said, I have a small featured face, so it doesn't fit me very well. It's great. I can't see. Many of them ended up living in very terrible conditions, like just really, really sad. Now this area, the Kingsbury Run, it was said to be covered in just trash and waste. And many people have built little homes out of mud. Alright, now I'm gonna go wash my face one more time. I'll bring back the wash so you can see it, and I'm gonna brush my teeth real quick. Alright, I'm back for good this time. Okay, so the second face wash that I use is called Hydro Boost Hydrating Cleansing Gel from Neutrogena. And then I use Colgate toothpaste and Crest Clean Mint mouthwash. Next thing I'm going to use is the Clearasil for acne prevention across the face. They're just little wipes I use like this. In the same way the lady of the lake was, because his skin was also red, rough, and super leathery. It was apparent that this victim had been dead for at least a couple of weeks. It does not come with this on top of it. I put the sticker there. We got them at the Pride Festival. I think we have lost something.
So that's when police start, figuring that they're probably
Just not good.
a
Okay.
serial killer, a really sick one at that. So then in January of 1936,
Oh, it's over here.
minding her own business, okay? She comes across two baskets that are sitting alongside this.
So I take out my liquid eyeliner and I want to try winged eyeliner today. Don't know how that's going to work out for me, but we're going to try it anyway.
So she kind of goes and takes a look inside.
I have never been good at winged eyeliner.
She sees something that's like wrapped in a bunch of newspapers. She's feeling a little curious. She opens it up. What does she see? She sees that wrapped inside the newspaper seems to be like human body parts. She wasn't sure as to like what she was looking at, but it was clear that it was like skin and just parts.
Okay. And then we're going to use the Dove Nourishing Body Care Face Cream. Get it for $1, Dollar Tree.
They see that it's woman's body parts wrapped up in these baskets. It's a woman. So they search the area. They're not finding anything. Now they have like people going out and searching the area over the next couple of days in hopes to just find something, anything, right? And about 10 days after finding the victim's body, that's when they were able to recover most of her body that was cut up and scattered around. It was scattered around just in different areas, hidden in like some bushes over here, and in the baskets over here. Like it was very strange. But they were unable to locate her head. Missing. Yeah, where the hell is that? I don't know.
Okay, and then we're going to use the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Rose Primer Spray.
The coroner also determined that this victim had died from decapitation.
And then we get started into actual makeup.
With this victim, though, it was a little different. It was a little odd because the killer, whoever it was, they waited for the rigor mortis to set in before dismembering the rest of the body, whereas the previous victims, whoever was responsible, didn't do this. They're thinking like this is gonna sound inappropriate, but it's kind of what they're thinking. It's almost like a little science project going on or something. Like maybe the killer wanted to see what happened, like trying something new.
Okay, and then we're going to start out with the
So fingerprints were
Wet
taken
n Wild
from
Tinted
this
Hydrator.
able to ID her as a woman named Florence or Flo. She worked in the area as a waitress, a barmaid, and she also worked as a sex worker. And she lived right on the edge of the roaring third. So right where a lot of people were coming and going. So it's like, shit, could have been someone who just left town. Investigators were feeling like they had to kind of like work fast because the person in the area could easily flee. So, I mean, investigators are doing their thing. They're questioning as many people as they can, but nothing is coming from it. No leads, no clues, nothing. So then, in June 19...
I'm so nervous about doing a winged liner. I have never been good at this, but I'm like determined to try to master it, damn it.
They were going to skip school, let's go hang out and walk around because they don't know what else to do. So they're walking around the area, and then they come across what seems to be, you guessed it, they come across a pair of trousers. There's trousers on the floor, but then they see that there's something.
And then we're going to move on to Wet n Wild Photo Focus Primer in matte.
Cats have they were. They go up and they kind of open up the trousers, and they see that it was a head of a male. So, okay, these boys find the head, they report it to police, and they take it in, they take the victim's head in, hopefully find an ID. But the very next day, police, they find the body of a man, another man, who seemed to be in his 20s, and it was dumped in front of the police building. Again, the body was super clean, it was drained of all blood, but this time...
Okay, and then we're going to use LA Colors Conceal Correct in green, which I could have sworn that I like had more of these somewhere. I just don't know what happened to them.
They were unable to identify who he was. With this victim, he had 6 very distinct tattoos on various parts of his body. Now, police were hoping that this would help identify who he was, right? So they put out there in the newspapers and stuff like, hey, if you know someone with this tattoo, let me know. So they put his tattoos out there in hopes that somebody will come forward and say that's so-and-so. But again, sadly, this victim would just be known as the tattooed man, and he was never identified. Nobody knew who this man was. Oh my gosh, I'm just having like a light bulb moment because the train station was so.
And then we moved to LA colors, conceal correct in blue, purple. Some packaging says blue, some says purple, some says lavender.
Okay, not a light bulb moment, but it's a thought. So then, July 1936, a teenage girl was walking through the woods and came across a decapitated man.
And then we have the LA colors, conceal correct in yellow.
So this victim seemed to be in his 40s and appeared to be dead for about 2 months. The previous victims that had been found, they seemed to be killed in different locations, and then they were dropped around the town.
And then we move on to LA colors, conceal correct in peach. Don't know what's with my words today. Can't use them apparently.
Because nearby was a pile of bloody clothing, and there was a large amount of blood that had seeped into the ground, which led authorities to believe that he was killed on the spot. It was clear as day. His head and the bloody clothing was found nearby, like it was right next to the body pretty much, but it was just different. I personally am leaning
That is
towards,
pretty much
like,
dead.
maybe
Gonna have to get a new one of
it was
those.
something and the killer didn't have to, but he felt like, well, I gotta get rid of you now. So then in September 1936, a man is walking to the train. He's gonna catch a train so he can get out of town.
I think we're talking about the Kingsbury Run Butcher. Then we have the LA colors, conceal correct in white, which is more of just a highlighter, but I like using it. It's pretty.
Torso. He tripped over a man's torso. Yeah, that sounds really weird, but based off of what I was reading and some of the pictures I saw, there seemed to be, or like the area was really bad, and there were just like piles of trash everywhere, and the torso wasn't just like laying out in the open with like nothing around it where you couldn't miss it, it was just kind of like buried or.
My wife isn't feeling good today. And then we're going to use the NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop Contour Concealer. I just use it right here and right here.
So this man, he was just trying to get out of town and is walking, trips, look back. What is that? Man's torso. Police went out there. They searched the area, right? And nearby, it's like this large pool. So it's like when you're walking, there's a lot of the trash and debris and everything, right? And then nearby is like this huge pool, which was said to be nothing more than just a big open sewer.
And then the Maybelline 30 Hour Super Stay Under Eye Concealer. Super important when you're a mom and don't sleep.
A diver to come out to the area and dive into this large pool that was pretty much a sewer. Like it was rough. And they're searching this area because they're thinking that maybe, the rest of this man's body parts could be in there, right? Now this brought on a lot of onlookers. People want to know what the heck's going on. Now the media was reporting about the bodies being found and whatnot, and kind of keeping everyone up to date about what was going on. So a lot of people knew, like.
Then we have the Glamouflage Pro Hard Candy Full Face Concealer in Ivory.
So everyone's like huddling around this pool thing. Not even huddling, because there was a lot of people who came. It was said that up to like 600 people showed up to see what police found. So they're all just like watching. Now in this pool, they were able to recover.
And yes, I realized to you guys that this does look lighter than my skin tone. It's really not. I'm actually incredibly pale. But it's the lighting with my ring light. It didn't look like this before we painted the room the dark color. But the lighting with my ring light and the dark color makes me look brighter than what I am. So no, it is not mismatched. Next thing I'm going to use is this new color BB Beauty Cream in Light.
That the coroner was able to tell that the person who had done this didn't hesitate when they were cutting up the body. I found that really interesting. It may sound morbid, welcome to my channel, I guess. But wow, it's something even you just don't think about. Or I didn't. I don't know. Anyway, so it was noted that the victim's head had been cut off, which is like one bold, clean stroke, which said that is what killed the victim instantly. Sadly, though, they were unable to identify this victim as well. Now, at this point, they were again at 6 killings in just
Also,
1
happy
year.
Pride to everybody who
Not even just,
celebrates.
normal killings, which are still awful, but these were very intense killings, right? Where are the damn heads? They had no clues, no suspects, nothing to go off of. The local newspapers were reporting on the killings almost daily, and the fact that they had no suspects.
And then we're going to the Wet and Wild Photo Focus Foundation in Dewey.
Just chopping up people, and you guys are lollygagging the police. You're lollygagging, like, why haven't they got anyone? The media started referring to whoever was doing this, the killer. They were calling him the Mad Butcher, and other than calling him the Mad Butcher, that's really all they had. They had nothing. Nothing. You know, sometimes I think back, not even think back, I'll be like synonymous with it, mind my own business, right? And I'm like, well, how did they even solve crimes back then? Unless they caught him right away. You could get away with so much, though, back then. Not that that's a good thing, but it just, I don't know how they did it. I really don't. The mayor steps in, and he appoints a new safety director named Elliot Ness to get involved into the case. He's going to be like the lead main investigator guy. He's gonna solve the crime. Together,
That's gonna bug me.
A group of people, the police, the coroner,
I hate
and a
it.
bunch
Okay.
of experts. They come together and they create some kind of.
And then I'm going to use this brand new
Some
LA
of the
Colors
police
contour
also went
stick
undercover and
in
started
Fair.
hanging around the Roaring Third, listening into conversations. They were talking to people, acting like they're gambling. They probably were gambling, but they were just trying to talk to people and figure out, what's the inside scoop. The police would say over time that they had interviewed up to like almost 5,000 people. Okay, they were talking to everybody, and it would soon become, or at least turn.
Okay, and then we're going to use the Wet and Wild Natural Finish Setting Spray to set the concealers and foundations.
Everybody, and they still
That's
came up with nothing.
Choking myself.
Questions. I mean, don't you think somebody would have said something? People like to talk. People love talking, especially when they know something. I feel like somebody would have said something. Out of 5,000,
We're going to try a couple things with this look that I haven't done before because I'm like really weird about things not being perfect. But we're going to try them and we're going to see what the fuck happens, okay?
Torso washed up on the shore. Unlike the previous victims, this cause of death, or her cause of death, had not been decapitation. It was believed that she was decapitated after she was dead. See, before it was like the decapitation is what killed the person. Now it was believed that the killer didn't chop off her head until after she was dead. So the torso was found, and then 3 months later, the lower half of this victim's torso had also washed ashore. But again, she was unable to be identified. June 1937, a teenage boy, he's out walking, and he gets to under a bridge area. And under this bridge, that's where he finds a human skull. Next to the human skull was a burlap bag containing skeletal remains. Now, police take in
This is, shit, I don't even know who this is. This is Neutrogena Mineral Shears Loose Powder Foundation. It just kind of evens out the skin tone a little bit for me.
As they were able to get her name, they were able to try to get anything, something, shit. Nothing came from it. I mean, there's bodies everywhere. July 1937, a National Guardsman saw the first limb of the next victim in the wake of a passing tugboat. Over the next few days, police recovered the entire body from the river. Once again, the head was never located. With this victim, they saw that the abdomen had been gutted and the heart was ripped out. Also, this victim was never identified. I don't know what kind of science.
We have LA Colors Shimmer Bronzer in Radiance. I always just put this up by my hairline. Kind of darkens it out a little bit.
Not sure why, but nothing happened for almost a year. No new victims were being found, which is good, but it was okay,
And then we're going to use the, this is True Match Mineral Blush, but I don't use it as blush. I use it as bronzer for under my chin.
Of course not, because then in April of 1938, that's right, maybe the killer like went out of town for something, a business meeting or whatever. I don't know.
I know the tip of my nose.
He was back in town. And I shouldn't say he.
And then we're going to use e.l.f. finishing powder in Fair.
A man on his way to work saw what he thought was a dead fish along the river banks. Oh, it wasn't a dead fish though. He gets up to it, right? It's not a dead fish. Of course it's not a dead fish. It was the lower half of the woman's leg. Not even the full leg. Just like the
You can
shin
talk.
and the calf.
I'm open to talking.
And then about a month later, police pulled 2 burlap bags out of the river containing both parts of the torso and most of the legs.
And then we're going to move on to the Wet n Wild highlighting palette in Golden Flower Crown.
So this could provide some answers, okay? Because they're thinking,
Just going to put it here.
did the victim take the drugs
And here.
themselves? Were the drugs given to her?
And
Maybe
here.
that could kind of give some clues. The coroner
And
thought if
here.
they could find the victim's arms, it might
And
give further answers.
a
But
little.
unfortunately, the victim's arms were never located. She was never
Then we're going to move on to
identified.
eyeshadow. This is the fun part. This is the super fun part for me.
1938, a victim's torso was found wrapped in a man's blue blazer. It's wrapped in the blue blazer, and then it's wrapped again in like an old quilt. The legs and the arms were discovered in a makeshift box. It was wrapped in like brown butcher paper, and it was held together with rubber bands. Kind of more creative than the other bodies, right? The other victims. Like, I wonder what that's about actually. This victim was also decapitated, and the head, it was wrapped on its own separately, but it was wrapped up in the same way. Now, it was noted on this
Oh
victim
god,
that
I am
some
not
of
a
the
winged
parts
eyeliner
looked
type
like
girl. This
as
is
if they
horrible.
had been refrigerated
And
or put in a
I absolutely hate it.
I don't know why I keep covering my mouth, sorry. But while searching for more evidence, that's when police discovered the remains of another freaking body. Yeah, bodies on bodies on bodies. There's just a lot of bodies going on. But there was another body just yards away. Now, these 2 victims were never identified. Now, do you remember Elliot Ness? I mentioned him earlier today. Now, Elliot Ness was the one who was like the main guy,
Nope.
the main investigator on this case.
Definitely not
And
up
he
my
was
alley.
famous himself.
Okay.
He was most famous for bringing down Al Capone. Yeah, so he was pretty known, especially by criminals. But it seemed like the killer was definitely taunting Elliot at this point. It was in plain view, another body. Elliot, at this point, was like, okay, game on, bitch. I was kidding, he didn't say that. But Elliot, he probably did actually, because he pulls the douchiest move of all time. Elliot deserves douche of the year because he rounded up about 35 police officers and detectives. And his plan was for them to go search for the killer in the Obo Jungles. That's what they call this area where all the rundown houses were out and all the homeless people are living. Elliot was believing that this is where the killer was living. So all these police officers, they
Fill back in the makeup here a little bit so it's not so red there because I do have red skin. Let's try this one more time.
Elliot at this time was seeing red. Whoever this killer was taunting him, and his ego is probably just a little bruised. What does an angry man do? Well, he's like, let me call police. Tell them really quick to set the shacks on fire and burn down the town to the ground. So Elliot calls for police and firemen to go out there and set these shacks on fire and just burn the whole section down. This is where like all the homeless people are living, and you know the Great Depression had happened a couple years prior. People are not really fully back on their feet.
I still hate it, but you know what? I'm gonna leave it because I just don't care.
That's really all they could do. They can't go anywhere. They don't have money to go anywhere.
I hate winged eyeliner. It's too hard.
And Elliot
Too hard.
has them burn it all down. Because people already had nothing. They do it. They burn it down. The whole thing gets burned down to the ground. And then Elliot's like, yay, fixed it. So the newspapers are reporting on all this, right? The people of the town were angry. A lot of them were very angry with Elliot for what he had done. He was heavily criticized for his actions. People knew that the raid would do nothing to solve the murders.
I'm determined to learn how to do winged eyeliner, so I'll probably continue to do it despite the fact that somebody's going to say that it sucks. I know that it sucks. I tried. I'm still learning.
That whoever was responsible for these murders had to be someone who was familiar with human anatomy, right? That's what the coroner said. Well, in order to be familiar with human anatomy, you would think this run down homes in that area. Whoever was responsible needed more room to drain the bodies of their blood, right? Cut them up, etc., etc. People are thinking, you just burned down the whole area and ruined all these people's lives for what? There's no way the person could live in there. I think Elliot just used this opportunity to get rid of the homeless population. That was probably like an eyesore for him or something. That's just my personal opinion, not a fact. After the area had been burned down, the killings had stopped completely. So maybe he did live in the area? No, I don't think so. But I also forgot to mention that eventually the media gave this killer the name the Cleveland Torso Killer. So the Cleveland Torso case ends with a letter addressed to the chief of police on December 21st, 1931. Let me tell you what this letter said. It's typed out. It's typed, not written or anything. And it says, Chief of Police, you can rest easy now, as I have come out to sunny California for the winter. I felt bad operating on those people, but science must advance. Just laboratory guinea pigs found on any public street. No one missed them when I failed. Right now, I have a volunteer who will absolutely prove my theory. They called me mad and a butcher, but the, quote, truth will out, end quote. The body has not been found and never will be, but the head, minus features, is buried in a gully on Century Boulevard between Eastern and Century Crenshaw. I feel it is my duty to dispose of the bodies I do. It is God's will not to let them suffer. That's the last they had heard of this Cleveland Torso Killer, right? From this letter. Now, 8 years after this is when Elizabeth Short, the Black Dahlia, is found dead in sunny California with the same markings of the Cleveland Torso Killer. She, like if you remember in my last video, was drained.
This is like really hard to do.
Cut in half, similar to the
and I hate it.
Ohio. And this is why a lot of people believe that
this is why I don't do this.
The final suspect in this
But I feel like
case.
I can't just overlook
In July of 1939, a 52-year-old
certain people.
man,
Like, that's
Frank,
just not
confessed
very
to the murder
all
of
inclusive.
Flo.
Now, is it?
Frank said that he had lived with Flo and had been acquainted with 2 other victims, Edward and Rose. But his confession turned out to be all over the place. His story was flip-flopping and almost seemed rehearsed, practiced. They took him in.
I kind of wonder if I wouldn't have an easier time.
First trial, but before he would appear in court, Frank was found dead in his jail cell. He hanged himself, or did he? What appeared to be a suicide left people with more questions, a lot more questions, okay? Because during the autopsy, it was revealed that Frank had 6 broken ribs, and Frank was 5'8", but hanged himself from a hook only 5'7" off the floor with 6 broken ribs. Like, that's a little weird. Many people did not think Frank was the killer, okay? That police forced him to confess because people wanted, someone in jail for all these murders.
I know.
So Frank is the one that...
Intersex is hard to do. I'm not even going to try to lie. It's, like, hard to do.
Because, like, the broken ribs had happened while in police custody, but why? So these murders, they just remain one big mystery. Nothing has been solved from it. I mean, nobody knows what the hell was going on. There are so many rumors out there as to who the killer may be, but there's been no solid leads as to who it was. Elliot Ness believes whoever the killer was continued to taunt him for years after the killings had stopped. He would get letters, he would get pictures, it led him nowhere. The biggest bummer of all is that all official police records on this case have been destroyed or they were lost. Never been solved, and all the files are gone, so it's like, that's it, Many believe that the Cleveland Torso Killer moved out west, and then that's when this person may have killed Elizabeth Short. We may never know who this person was and what the hell they were doing exactly. And it's disturbing. Like, this one's really disturbing because, I don't know, once you start chopping people up, I just feel like that, my friends, is a story about the Cleveland Torso Killer, whoever the hell that was. If you know, or
Could have been better, could have been worse. It is what it is.
let us know. Don't let me know. Let the police know first, okay? And then come back and let me know. But no, tell the police But yeah, I mean, it just remains one big mystery, man. This one is so wild. I would love to hear your thoughts and theories down below. Do you think the Cleveland torso killer may have been the one who killed the Black Dahlia, Elizabeth Short? Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. A big thank you to Casetify for partnering with me on today's video. I wanted to do a giveaway for hitting 3 million subscribers, and just as a thank you, and I wish I could give each and every one of you something. Today's giveaway is so great. Oh my gosh, let me tell you. I had to make a note of what's in this giveaway. So in this giveaway, you can win the Estate Cosmetics and Me palette. I did a collab with Estate Cosmetics and came out with this cute little eyeshadow palette. So you could win that plus 2 liquid lipsticks, 2 glosses, 1 eyeliner, 2 highlighters, which is over $100 value from Estate Cosmetics. We also have the Loud Lacquer nail polish sets, both of the collections. So the new one, the Aquafana collection, plus the last one I did, which was the Murder Mystery Makeup collection. They're fantastic nail polishes. Also, we have some merch. Yes, merch. And then we have Hunt a Killer is offering a 6-month subscription to the winner. Yes. Yes. And you also get a cocktail book and a cocktail mug. And then also, I'm going to sprinkle in some skincare goodies from your ad. So, you can win all of this. All you have to do is like this video, be subscribed, and leave a comment down below telling me what your favorite color is. Thank you guys so much. I hope you had a fantastic Thanksgiving.
Okay, and then we said it.
It was my birthday. I forgot. It was my birthday. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day ahead.
And
Please be
we're
safe
done.
out there. Wear a mask.
I hated this look. It's always rough to do
Let me know
any
if you
kind of
guys
pattern
think
on the
about that as
eyes
well.
if you don't have a specific liquid liner, but I wanted to try to keep it purple, so that's why I struggled with it. Still learning how to do winged eyeliner. It's improving. It's steadily improving, but it's still not like my favorite thing to do because it's really hard. So join me on this journey, and we shall learn together. Thank you for hanging out with me while we did the intersex flag. I'll see you all tomorrow.